politically. You just literally cannot do it. Okay, transparent financing, unless I have transparent financing, also transparent spending. I mean, this bill was written in a tortured way to make sure CBO did not score the mandate as taxes. If CBO scored the mandate as taxes, the bill dies. Okay, so it's written to do that. In terms of risk-rated subsidies, if you had a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Okay, just like lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But basically, that was really, really critical to getting the thing to pass. And, it's the second best argument. Look, I wish Mark was right. We could make it all transparent, but I'd rather have this law than not. So it's kind of like his reporter story. There's things I wish I could change, but I'd rather have this law than not.
So first of all, you haven't publicly commented on this so far. Do you stand by the comments in that video?
The comment in the video were made at an academic conference. I was speaking off the cuff.
And then another Massachusetts hero, John Kerry, or more likely staff, came up with a great substitute idea. They said, look, what you economics nerds want to do is you want to say that for people with expensive health insurance plans, they will no longer get a 40% tax break. What if we instead just levied a 40% tax on the insurance companies that sell these terrible expensive Cadillac plans? We said, well, that's pretty much the same thing. But why does it matter? I said, you'll see. And they were posted and that passed. Because the American voter is too stupid to understand the difference. So basically,
I was speaking off the cuff, and
until a second Massachusetts hero arose, John Kerry. And John Kerry said, no, we're going to tax your health insurance. We're going to tax those evil insurance companies. We're going to impose a tax that if they sell health insurance that's too expensive, we're going to tax them. And conveniently, the tax rate will happen to be the marginal tax rate under the income tax code. So basically, it's the same thing. We just tax the insurance companies. They pass it on higher prices. That offsets the tax break we get. It ends up being the same thing. It's a very clever, basically exploitation of the lack of economic understanding of the American voter. Okay.
I was speaking.
Welcome to the J.J. Carrell Show. Who was that schmuck? Jonathan Gruber, the architect of Obamacare. Quote, the American people are just too stupid. The title of my show, and I'm going to go through a litany of videos to just drive home my point. Prove my point. That's easy. My title of my show, The United States Government is the Enemy, is factually a true statement. They are the enemy. Who else are you fighting in your daily life? Who else are you fighting with? I'm not. You're taking my you're taxing my income. Your sales tax. If I pay my house off, you're going to continue to tax me to the point if I own, let's say I owe $10,000 a year in property tax, or $5,000, let's just say $5,000 a year in property tax, and my house is worth $700,000, and I paid it off. If I don't pay the $5,000 tax on $700,000, you come and seize my house for a $5,000 lien. It's not even 1% of the value of my house. And yet you continually tax me. The enemy is the United States federal government and the absolute psychopaths and jackasses that are inside our government. We have Obamacare. And I know the argument is, well, there was no Republican votes. Okay. Everyone knows that Obamacare is an absolute disaster. And Republicans, since the day that Obama was president a very long time ago, we've never gone in and fixed it, got rid of it, did something else. Why? Everyone knows it's failed. It's an absolute boondoggle failure. But they can't because the Democrats are using it to balance their budgets. They're using all of the kickbacks from the federal government through Medicare, giving illegal aliens health care, blah, blah, blah. They use it to balance their budget, as Elon Musk has told us very articulately. The enemy of the United States of America is our own government. I don't want to hear, and I shoot back now. I never really hesitate to jump on people. But the moment someone says, well, JJ, that's kind of black pill. Oh, really? Go F off. It's not black pill if it's the truth. So you're telling me the ACA, the Obamacare, is a good thing? America's thriving? Are you trying to tell me that? Are you trying to tell me when the moment I got in the United States Border Patrol, I was making less money than I'm and now in retirement? However, I had more disposable income 30 years ago. So now I'm making exorbitantly more money than I made then. My quality of life has not really skyrocketed. You wouldn't look at me now, and I wear the same clothes, jeans. I'm a very simple man. I like a nice car. I pay it off. I keep it for 10 years, and I buy another one. I don't go and pay a lot of money for a car and then go buy another one a year from now, and then another one, and you got to have new watches. No. I'm very simple man. The government has destroyed the economy. In the time that I was a professional in the United States Border Patrol, you got into multiple wars in the Middle East that we should never have been in. You have given foreign aid in the trillions of dollars. You have cost tens of thousands of American lives. You have stolen our money through NGOs. It's already been proven through DOJ. And then the Republican Party will not do what's necessary to codify the DOJ cuts. They will not do what's necessary to secure our elections. They will not do what's necessary to stop the government shutdown. Why? Because they are complicit in it all. This is a uni-party. I did a show the other day on a third party. We need a third party. Do you know how many people came out and saying, "Oh, that's ridiculous"? I'd get DMs. JJ, you shouldn't be talking about third party. We just need to keep with the plan. What are you, an idiot? You sound like a stupid, gutless beta male that has a wife that's screwing everyone in town. And the advice you're getting is, I really think she's coming to God. She's going to Bible study. She's trying to go to church. She's really trying not to have affairs all across town. You're almost there, buddy. Stay with the plan. Yeah, but it's painful. It's embarrassing. I've got several STDs. No. Stay with the plan. No, I think I'm going to get divorced and try to start a life. Why you're so stupid? Why would you do that? That's the same thing. We've been abused. We've been cheated on. We've been given diseases. We've had our money stolen. We've bankrupted. And everyone's telling all of us, stay the course. Trump's playing 5D chess. Oh, you effing morons. If you ever come to me again with your 5D chess crap, that I've been hearing that since Pence took his 30 pieces of silver and stabbed Trump in the back. Well, this is the bigger plan. Go screw your bigger plan. You're a moron if you think that. These politicians can't see past tomorrow. And you're telling me that they've created a war board and they're moving all the pieces for a 5-year plan? You that stupid? We're almost done the first year of Donald Trump's presidency. And I'm going to state this as a fact. Not one person's been arrested. 2020 election that I just did a real take on just 5 minutes ago. 2020 election. Already known. Massive corruption and theft. No one's been arrested. No one. Not even the low-level people that were moving all the ballots all over the place. Nobody. Obamacare, complete and utter disaster. As a man that's retired, I get one of, quote, Cadillac plans through Blue Cross Blue Shield. I'm paying $1,000 a month. I have family members that are businessmen, businesswomen. They tell me their premiums, I almost choke, up to $2,000. What in God's name are you talking about, dude? It's all been a lie. Let's listen, just so we know who we're talking about. Let's listen to this liar, this Muslim, not even American-born president. We still don't even know who the hell this guy is. We have no idea who President Obama is. Is his name Barry Sartello? Or is his name Barack Hussein Obama? Who is he? And nobody will ask the question because we're all gutless bastards. But let's listen to Donald. Let's listen to Barry, Barack Hussein, I'm a Muslim. And let's listen to him talk about, you can keep your plan if you want to keep your plan.
If you've got health care already, then you can keep your plan if you are satisfied with it.
If you like the plan you have, you can keep it.
I intend to keep this promise. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan.
If you like your plan and your doctor, you can keep them.
You'll be able to keep your health care plan. If you like your plan, you keep your plan. If you like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan.
If you like your current insurance, you keep that insurance. Period. End of story.
If you've got health insurance, you can keep it. If you have insurance that you like, then you will be able to keep that insurance. If you like your health care plan, you keep your health care plan. Nobody's going to force you to leave your health care plan. If you like your health care plan, you will keep your plan.
If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan.
If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan.
No matter what you've heard, if you like your doctor or health care plan, you can keep it.
If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan. If you like your private health insurance plan, you can keep it.
If you like your private health insurance plan, you can keep your plan. Period.
Nothing in this plan will require you or your employer to change the coverage of the doctor you have.
If you are among the hundreds of millions of Americans who already have insurance, nothing in my plan will require you or your employer to change the coverage or the doctor you have.
If you want to keep the health insurance you got, you can keep it. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan.
If you like the insurance plan you have now, you can keep it.
If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. So if you like your plan, you can keep your plan.
Have you had enough? I mean, I wanted to tell Nick, go ahead and stop that clip. But part of me is like, no, let it go. Let it go as a reminder of how evil our government is. Can you believe we voted for that Manchurian candidate 2 times? I can almost understand the first time because white Americans were so guilt-tripped that they're racist people that they didn't care. They didn't care if that was Satan. As long as Satan had black skin, they were going to vote for him. But the second time, but then again, you realize who we put up. We put up the absolute quintessential beta, disgusting rhino Romney. Our government is corrupt. Our government is evil. And our government is the enemy. And let me talk about someone that is equally disgusts me. Because we had a chance to overturn the Obamacare, if you remember. And there was one man that stood in the way, and his name was John McCain, the war hero, who I give a lot of credit to. He suffered greatly. But you don't get a mulligan for the rest of your life for being a political jackass and a liar. You just don't. And he's spiteful, he's mean-spirited, and he's just a jackass. Let's watch the moment that he forced us to continue Obamacare because he was the deciding vote. Watch this. Let's go down memory lane.
1:29 a.m. Senator McCain re-enters the chamber. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell stands at the front of the room like he had most of the night. The grin on his face, though, quickly disappears.
Mr. Peters.
Senator Bernie Sanders appears to nudge Senator Jeanne Shaheen as if to say, watch this. McCain waves his hand to get the attention of the Senate clerk, pauses for just a moment, and gives a dramatic thumbs down. An audible gasp on the Senate floor, and then commotion. Some Democrats can't contain their excitement. Senator Elizabeth Warren leans in to get a better look and breaks into applause. Senator Dianne Feinstein, a single assertive clap. Senator Sherrod Brown slams his hand on the desk in affirmation, while some Republicans, like Senator Marco Rubio, stare in disbelief. Senator Bill Cassidy drops his head. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer turns and waves his arms, apparently trying to quiet them, as Senator John McCain turns around and walks back to his chamber desk all alone.
Mr. Reid.
That was John McCain's greatest moment. And now we all suffer under Obamacare. And yet no Republican since then has tried to stop it, to change it, remove it. Why? It's an absolute crap hole disaster. And nobody does anything. We'll just continue to wallow in it probably for another 100 years. Because the Republicans will never do anything about it. Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? The charismatic pencil, John Thune? The evangelical Baptist preacher from Louisiana, Speaker Johnson? Are you? That's what you're going to hang your hat on as Republicans? I'm not a Republican. So I'm asking you Republicans. You Republicans, you're going to hang your hat on a man that is a mini McConnell, that has as much charisma as McConnell does, meaning none, or you're or you're going to listen to Speaker Johnson. Did Speaker Johnson, has he ever moved you? Has he ever made you feel like, damn, I'm fighting for that man? Of course not. Little small men with perfectly brushed over hair and little tiny Millie Mouse glasses, those are not the men that usually inspire other men. John Thune gets upset on the Senate floor, and it shows some emotion after 40 years in the Senate, and we're all supposed to be, oh, John Thune's mad. Oh, when I saw John, just as a side note, my father, John Carrell, 6'4", 275, massive man, powerful man, just the greatest father you'd ever. Period, hands down, the greatest father, period. But he was a big, strong man. And he used to, I'll never forget, my dad rarely talked about when he was a Secret Service agent. Maybe I should have said that too. Secret Service agent, seven presidential administrations from LBJ, LGBTQ, LBJ, all the way to 1995, he retired, so it would be George Bush. And he would tell me, son, we would hear something on the news, right? And someone would talk about, look how angry Bill Clinton is. And look how angry Henry Kissinger was. And my father was in those rooms with Henry Kissinger and Nixon and Clinton and everything. My father was there. And my father, I'll never forget, turned to me one time. We were watching TV and that came on. Like they were just talking about Kissinger and Clinton and a bunch. I don't know why. I wasn't really so politically. I was a teenager, so I wanted to play sports and chase girls, basically. And my dad turned to me and said, "Do you think it matters to anyone if those two men are mad or angry, son? Do you think they can do anything?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "Do you think either of those men have ever been in a fight in their entire life?" And I was like, "No, sir." And then he asked me, he made a statement, and it stuck with me all the way into my 50s, and it'll stick with me all the way. He says, "Those are the men that know that they could never be physically harmed, and that is why they're so bold." Bill Clinton would never talk to anyone outside of his security detail. Henry Kissinger, the little schmucky little twat of a man, he would never talk to anybody in a parking lot like that because he knows he would get his ass kicked. And he's right. So when I hear John Thune got John Thune, He was so angry. Everybody was like, oh, John Thune. Give me a break. I sat in a meeting with John Thune one time, a full-on crowd of his supporters, 50, 75 people, all there, John Thune supporters. And I listened to him speak for 7 minutes straight. And halfway through it, I was like mesmerized. And I remember thinking to myself, dear God, he's past the 5-minute mark of speaking nonstop, and he has said absolutely nothing. It was like being in a master's class of how to be a politician, a really great politician with no substance, no morality, no passion, just, and like you hear a milquetoast. I think that's too great of an adjective to use to describe how unimpressive that man is. Just is. Just going to say it. But you have John McCain and the Republicans. They're the same party. There's no difference between the two parties. That's why we need a third or fourth party. Absolutely, I'm all for it. I used to be strictly black or white, Republican, Democrat, but they're not black and white. It's just a bunch of gray. We're just being hosed. And you either get in the ball game and change it, or we can just all suffer together. But if we're all going to suffer together and keep the system the way it is, I want everyone to shut your effing mouth. It's just like being with a friend and your friend's wife just had an affair and you're like, damn, dude, this is the second or third one, right? Yeah. Well, my advice to you, buddy, is here's two things. I'll be here for you if you want to leave, and it's going to be horrible and you're going to struggle, but you'll come out okay. But if you decide to stay with her, that's fine. I just don't want to ever hear you bitch about her again. That's it. You're married to a whore, and that's your life. Same thing I'm going to say to Republicans, Democrats. You're connected, tethered to a whore that is never, ever going to take care of you and is going to abuse you and is going to take advantage of you, and she's going to mock you. She's going to sleep with other people. And she's going to tell you that and do it over and over again because you've proven that you will go back to them or to her. I think it's a perfect analogy. I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I am an American-only guy. I don't care if that party materializes or not. That is the party I'm in. America only. America only. Let's look at this clip from CNN. And this is about the shutdown and the healthcare. This is all tied together. The Democrats look like they're going to vote later today or yesterday or today on opening the government. It doesn't matter if they open it or not. The Democrats have used healthcare, which they used Obamacare to fund the healthcare of all the illegal aliens, all of the worthless do-nothings in America, because when he does that, he bought their votes. Nothing's changed from Obamacare till now. This is the exact same thing, and this man brings what he believes is the receipts, and the left begin to melt down. Play this one, please.
Reason why our healthcare system is broken.
Yeah, it's not deflection at all. In fact, I brought receipts. So here's the CMS, the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, right here with their press release earlier this year saying they were having to increase their oversight on states like California who were abusing Medicaid and classifying it as an EUSA, an emergency system, when it wasn't. You've got the average state spends 5% of its Medicaid roughly on emergency services. California, 35 to 40%. Why would that be? Because California passed a state law that says we will fund Medicaid for illegals, and then, oh, by the way, we'll raise our provider taxes, and then, oh, by the way, we'll use that as a match to draw down federal funds. And they're using this whole cavitation process.
An accounting trick to put it on the taxpayer.
Money is fungible, and California's loophole is abusing it.
Listen, and we...
All right, back from CNN. Ooh, that was a lively one. And they hate it when you bring receipts. But let's talk about that Medicaid thing for a minute, because what you have right now is a thing called the California loophole. Liberals hate it when you bring receipts, but the California loophole is real. And the reason why the left wants to get this whole spending package revised right now is because they want to be able to fund Medicaid for illegals like California is doing. The Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services earlier this year said they were having to increase their oversight. Why? Because California, New York, other states like that were abusing the Medicaid process by turning their emergency rooms into free clinics and then classifying everything as an emergency service and submitting it for federal matching dollars. Not supposed to work that way. Life-giving, life-saving treatment, yes, that's the Hippocratic Oath. Treating somebody for the common cold and giving them basic medical care and calling it emergencies because they walked into an emergency room and then billing the U.S. taxpayer dollars, that's called fraud. It needs to stop, and that's exactly what Republicans are trying to do. It's pretty simple. Yes, illegal immigrants are being given Medicaid dollars, and it's blue states like California that are making it happen.
He's absolutely correct. The only thing that he's mistaking is Republicans are trying to stop it. No, they're not. Republicans had a chance to end the filibuster and just get it done, and they didn't do it. Now we're capitulating. Now we're giving the Democrats certain things, like the people that we fired out of the government because they're not needed, they're waste. Well, we have to hire them back. Well, why are we doing that? Why are we not ending the filibuster when you know the Democrats, the very first moment they get? In fact, I'm from Louisiana, so I say this with complete certainty. That cretin, disgusting, vile-looking human being, the Democrat leader down there, Carrell, just disgusting. I mean, could you iron your clothes, maybe, sir, when you do like an interview? Could you put a hat on that doesn't look like you ran it over on an 18-wheeler and just slapped it on your stupid, disgusting bald head? But he even came out this week and said, yeah, when the Democrats get in, they're going to end the filibuster. They're going to add Puerto Rico and some other bullcrap colony, if you will, and make them a state, DC and Puerto Rico. And then they're going to pack the courts with 13 judges, and we're going to do whatever we want. And our side goes, oh, let's not do it because they might do it. No, you stupid, gutless twats. They're going to do it. But you have no courage. Again, who we're going to follow? John Thune, Speaker Johnson? Here's a better question or a better picture. Let's remove Donald Trump. Completely remove him. Who's going to lead us? Who is going to lead us? The answer is no one. No one. You're going to pick Marco Rubio? J.D. Vance? They're not going to buckle? They're all America first now. They weren't that way before. Marco Rubio was full on about, hey, let's just legalize everybody. What happened there, Mr. Rubio? It's just like it's maddening. Let's listen to Musk, Elon Musk, who's starting to be like the only voice of reason. But I can understand how he takes a step back because he's even seen more, right? He's seen it all. As he said, this is everything that we're talking about and we're upset about is the tip of the iceberg. This isn't the whole iceberg. This is the tippy top. You Americans have no idea what's underneath the water, and if you did, I think you would just die because you won't be able to comprehend it. Listen to him talking about illegals getting health care, and this is the payment from the Democrats for their votes. There's no way around it. This is what's happening.
entitlements fraud that includes like Social Security, disability, Medicaid, is what is serving as a gigantic magnetic force to pull people in from all around the world. If you pay people at a standard of living that is above 90% of Earth, then you have a very powerful incentive for 90% of Earth to come here. But if you end the illegal alien fraud, then you turn off that magnet and they leave. And they stop coming, and the ones that are here, many of them will simply leave. If that happens, they will lose a massive number of Democratic voters. In New York State, illegal aliens can already vote in state and city elections. They're currently, I think it's like 600,000 are registered to vote, illegal aliens in New York. FEMA, that's an agency that's meant to support Americans in distress from natural disasters, was paying for luxury hotels for illegals in New York. Your tax money went to pay for illegal aliens in luxury hotels in New York from an agency that is meant to help Americans in distress.
I'm going to piggyback on what Elon Musk just said there, because just in case anybody that comes to you and starts to say, well, that's not true. There's one hotel called the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City. It held 5,000 illegal aliens, fed them, clothed them, internet, phone, everything, $1 billion a year. And don't listen to anyone else that tells you this, because I know the man that was tasked with creating the Roosevelt Hotel. I know the man that looked at all of the contracts and knows exactly how much it cost. It cost $1 billion. That same hotel, when Donald Trump came into office, he went and told FEMA, you're going to stop making payments to all these hotels. The COO of FEMA at the time ignored Donald Trump, stopped sending money, or didn't send all the money to North Carolina, and cut a check for $63 million for a hotel in New York City. Are you telling me the government's not the enemy? Are you really going to have that argument with me? Tucker Carlson talks about amnesty, and he talks about illegal aliens. This is a part of the plan. This is what I want you to understand. The government of the United States of America is a vile, evil creature, and you, America, are being replaced. Before I show this, Tucker Carlson, let's just be honest. There's part of me that is very, very angry with America and Americans because we allowed this to happen. However, the people that voted in the communist Muslim from Uganda in New York City, what put them over the edge was all the illegal and legal immigrants, because they allow illegal immigrants to vote in their elections. And I understand we just let New York City burn, but it has a profound impact on me and you, because our federal dollars are going to go to New York City to rebuild it when it collapses. Why? Why do I have to rebuild a city that killed itself? I should not let it. It should just be in rumbles. Just stay in a state of ruin. Go ahead and play Tucker Carlson talking about amnesty.
Any questions? Yes, sir. What do I think about amnesty for farm workers? I think it's the most grotesque thing I've ever heard. Are you joking? Amnesty for farm workers? We have like 60 million illegal aliens in the country. The country bears no resemblance to the country I grew up in, and it's not better, it's worse. Yell at Tucker. So I'm not going to sit for another lecture from anybody telling me we need to import more people to write code or pick grapes or any other task. Period. It hasn't worked. The country hasn't gotten richer. It hasn't become more unified. Those words should burn on the tongue of anyone who utters them. How dare you talk like that? Amnesty. How about deportation? What about that? Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, how about that? How about I don't want a 50-year mortgage, President Trump. I want 50 million illegals deported. Why is that so hard for anybody to comprehend? Farm workers. Are you kidding me? We have a housing crisis in America. Do you think having 50 million illegal aliens just might have a effect on housing? Just asking. Just asking. but I'm sure I'm crazy. I want to play this one more clip by Elon Musk to drive home this point of what Obamacare was from the very beginning and is now. It is a slush fund to pay off the donors from the pharmaceutical class and to pay and bribe illegal aliens and the very, very low-income Americans to vote for them. Period. Period. Play this, please, Nick.
The Democrats mention the medical care because they're trying to prey on people's empathy as much as possible.
A vicious, heartless president is cutting off food stamps to hungry children, veterans, all because he wants to use them as hostages so that Democrats will stop fighting for people's health care.
And then they imagine, oh, wow, somebody desperately needed a medical procedure. Shouldn't we maybe take care of them in that regard?
This president is a f***ing liar. He says there's no money to provide food stamps because of the shutdown. That's bull. His own agriculture department said there's plenty of money.
What they do is they divert the Medicaid funds and turn it into a slush fund for the states that goes well beyond emergency medical care.
Every president during shutdowns has provided the money that's needed, even Trump in his first term. He is bludgeoning the American people using the most innocent of victims.
New York and California would be bankrupt without the massive fraudulent federal payments that go to those states to create a massive financial incentive for illegals.
He is the most vindictive politician America has ever seen and the most heartless man America has ever seen in the presidency.
They were also giving out like debit cards with $10,000. So it's not just about medical care.
We're fighting him every step of the way.
The Democrats are vile. That's a vile human being. Vile. Chucky plugs, hair plugs, Schumer. Vile, vile human being. Before I go on to my next segment, I want to just take a pause and just, people ask me all the time through DMs, emails, see them on the street. We're talking, had someone just call me asking me, hey, I saw you give a speech last week. I just want to touch base and say everything you talked about is actually happening. Well, how can I support you? And I just say, I don't say go buy my books. All I say is, do me a favor, can you go to my website or go to my Substack and just be a subscriber? Go on YouTube, hit a link, subscribe to it, build my platform and my voice. And the best way you can do that is just go to jjcarrell.com, jjcarrell.com, or my Substack, jjcarrell.substack.com. Why is that important to me? Well, because it increases my reach. You can get as a paid subscriber, but ultimately, and as important for you, what do you get out of it? Well, I have tons of free content on there, but I have equally tons of just content for paid subscribers. That's the best way you can, that is the absolute best way that you can support me. Go to jjcarrell.com, jjcarrell.substack.com. And another way you can help and support is support the sponsors that partner with me. And one of them is PocLink. And Nick's going to throw up the link that's on there, PocLink at, and then the whole ULR. And what is PocLink? Well, this is it. It fits in my hand. It just fits in my hand. It fits in your pocket. I have really big hands, but it fits in your pocket. Now, is this the end all be all? Like I got to have this? No. This is a part, this is a tool. Like when I go out into the field, when I was in the United States Border Patrol and when I'm waiting for to go back and work for ICE, I have a tool belt. Just like a carpenter, a mechanic, I'm going to have my tools. And the same thing as like when I go out in the field, I have my radio, I have my OC spray, I have my steel baton, I have extra magazines, and of course I have my weapon. And I have my ballistic shield on, my vest. Same thing that I do now when I go out, I make sure that I have my weapon on me. I have my retire creds that allow me to carry my gun anywhere. I have a sat phone in my glove box. I have my cell phone. And then the other thing that I have in my pocket is PocLink. Because PocLink's a two-way radio. I can speak to my son and my wife whenever I need to. If everything goes down, the world catches on fire. I got it. And I got GPS in this. And it's encrypted, so no one can listen into my conversation. This is part of the toolbox, the tool belt that I have to have, is PocLink. It's $359 for a pair right now. $359, normally $999. $359. No annual fees for anything right now. None. Part of my toolbox. Part of my tool belt that I carry out to the real world every single day. As the world gets more uncertain, more chaotic, more violent, more unpredictable. And I do not like unpredictability. I don't. I'm a very routine guy. I believe life is very, very black and white. And I believe that humans make it very gray. It becomes very unpredictable. So therefore, I need to bridge that gap between the unpredictable to the predictable, meaning if everything goes to crap, or if I just need to contact my wife or my son, how am I going to have those communications? When the crap hits the fan, am I going to be cowering in my car as bullets fly all over, or trying to find cover for my wife or son? Or am I going to have my weapon on me, and now I could aggressively attack the target and kill it? I mean, these are things that I think about. I don't care how it sounds. I don't care if it sounds like I'm off and I'm thinking things that are crazy. No, this is what's been drilled into me for 24 years. I was bored in my squad car or on my ATV waiting for something to happen. I'm going through scenarios. Well, what happens if somebody comes up with a gun? What happens if I get in a fight? What happens if somebody takes my OC or my weapon, I mean my steel baton? Okay, well, I got to come out with my weapon. Same thing here. What happens when there's a shooting at my church? Well, that will never happen, but it's happening across America. Why wouldn't it happen here? There's going to be a shooting at a bank. There's going to be a shooting at a grocery store. There's going to be people trying to rob me. Well, that would never happen to me. Really? Are you serious? No one's going to break into my house. Well, if they do in my house, I have my firearm right by my bedside. Over down in the closet, I have my shotgun and my M4, or my AR-15, excuse me. Then I just point and blank, shoot, and blow your head off. I believe in being prepared, and I believe in bridging that gap between the predictable and the unpredictable. And what part of that is PocLink. The United States federal government is the enemy. And nothing from the federal level has been done to bring any of these people to justice. I'm going to start with who I believe is one of, if not the most important person in Trump's cabinet, and that's Tulsi Gabbard. And if you remember, and I'm going to show you this video to have you remember, she has all of the evidence to prove that Obama, Clapper, Brenner, the whole Intel and FBI colluded to hurt America. Thus, it is treason, and no one's been arrested. Play this, please, Nick.
We look at where we are now. Over the last several weeks, we've declassified and released documents that exposed how President Obama and leaders in the intelligence community knowingly manufactured a false intelligence document after the 2016 election was done, after the American people said, no, we want Donald Trump to go and be our commander-in-chief, not Hillary Clinton. And this manufactured document alleged that Russia aspired to help President Trump win the election with the aim of undermining his presidency and usurping the will and the voices of the American people who sent Trump to the White House.
What? Why aren't they arrested? Do we need a new attorney general? What in God's name is going on? Do you know how many hundreds of people that January 6th, which we're now learning which we knew, but now we're getting concrete evidence, was completely fabricated. From placing pipe bombs to the same person placing pipe bombs was out of policy, shooting protesters with less than lethal munitions. This was all concocted. This was all to take Trump out. And no one's arrested. How many Democrats, how many Republicans were arrested by the Democrats in Joe Biden's first 11 months? Hundreds. Hundreds. How many Democrats have been arrested right now? Zero. Effing zero. As a guy that's just rooted in law enforcement and law and order, I'm telling you that we live in the most lawless nation on planet Earth. I don't care about Nigeria and all those other those savage countries. We are the greatest nation on planet Earth. Therefore, whatever we don't do is magnified. And our inability to provide justice, to enforce the law, is a stain on America's soul. Why was James Comey allowed to walk in to the DOJ and have lawyers talk with other lawyers? Why didn't he have his house, his door kicked in at 6 a.m, dragged out in his pajamas and his slippers, and put cuffs on him? Why was that not done? Why was that not done? Well, because we're more enlightened, JJ. We're a little higher level than the Democrats. No, we're not. Actually, the Democrats have more courage, more determination, more fortitude, and they have bigger balls. I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying they are tougher, stronger, more determined, and more righteous than anything that we could ever put in office. Period. Let's go down this slide. Let's keep going down of things that are not happening. They're not happening because the government is the enemy of the people. I don't care if Donald Trump's in there, Tulsi Gabbard, everybody I love, all those people, great. I love it. Stephen Miller, great. I love it. But you have tens of thousands of anti-Americans inside the federal government. Why are we not stripping down the federal government and closing things? Why are we not codifying DOJ? Why? Well, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to show you right here. This gentleman is incredible on social media, and he brings receipts. I want you to listen to the determination, the fortitude, the strength, and the balls of the Democrat Party and ask yourself, would the Republican Party ever do what the Democrats do? And the answer is no. Go ahead and play this, please.
Thank you, MSNBC, for asking the dumb questions.
Why did Elon Musk fail so spectacularly?
There's a very easy answer to that. And that's because DOJ, under his leadership, proposed 192 separate cuts to reduce the deficit. And in response to those 192 actions, Democrat Party sued him 181 times, with 164 of those lawsuits still in litigation. So 192 actions to reduce the deficit, which would have totaled $892 billion of cuts. 11 of them were not challenged. Those 11 amounted to about $100 billion worth of cuts. Now, there are 17 more that just reached resolutions, and the cuts haven't been made yet. Those 17 cuts will reduce the deficit by an additional $231 billion. And then we have 164 more actions that are currently under lawsuit with the Democrat Party. So when you ask, why wasn't Elon Musk able to cut more from the deficit? Well, the answer is because the Democrats sued him 181 fucking times, with 164 of those lawsuits still pending. The Democrats took our money and sued DOJ with our money to stop him from saving us money. That's why. There's your answer to that idiotic fucking question.
But the question has to be asked on top of that, which I love that guy, is why are the Republicans allowing it to happen? Right here. Have this by me on my desk here, and then on my desk over there where I write my books and I do research. I have my Constitution. What constitution is binding us, tethering us to the Democrats' insanity? Whenever I hear, well, the Constitution will allow that, well, what Constitution are you talking about? What Constitution has been ruling our government? Honestly, tell me. Tell me something that's been done. Tell me where the Constitution played in when the government was firing people for not taking the COVID vaccine. Where was the Constitution when you allowed 30 million people to cross the border through the open borders? Where was that Constitution? I don't see it. I didn't see it because it didn't exist. The Democrats are playing, they're not playing chess and we're playing checkers. They've created an entirely new game. They haven't told us what the rules are. They haven't even told us or given us a piece of what goes on the board. They're just sitting there playing a game. And we're excluded, and they're making all of the moves. Whereas somebody that was having their life turned upside down by somebody that was excluding them, we would walk over and we would kick that board out of their hands, and then we'd punch them square in the mouth, and then we would do what's needed to be done to correct America and get her back to the Constitution. But we'll sit here with a broken, corrupt judicial system that stops the federal government, the executive branch, from removing and eliminating fraud, waste, and abuse. Now, you tell me how I'm supposed to work with those people, or better yet, explain to me how I'm wrong, how the federal government should not reclaim all of its power under the executive and just go get things done. Pull an Andrew Jackson. Look at the Supreme Court, those stupid, and also, there's about one or two people that are fairly attractive on the Supreme Court. How are all of these judges so physically grotesque, physically looking? Sotomayor, Kajanji, Braxton, Jown, whatever. But we're going to sit here under this illusion that 9 people that wear black robes get to determine everything that happens in America. It's insane. Our founding fathers never built the 3 branches of government that way. Wake up, America, you effing morons. Pull an Andrew Jackson, Donald Trump. Pull an Andrew Jackson, look at the Supreme Court and say, thank you very much for your opinion. Now come down and enforce it. Come enforce it with your beautifully manicured fingernails, your skin that has no calluses on because you're just bookworms. That's all you've done. You've just been able to regurgitate it, or you're black, or you're Hispanic and a lesbian, or you're a woman, and you've been placed in a position because of your skin color or your sex or your sexual perversion, whatever that is. That's the only reason you're there. You're not intelligent. Will Donald Trump do that? No, he doesn't have the stones. That's why I'm telling you, when this is all done and nothing gets done, like in the big picture thing, nothing gets done. Someone on the very, 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 very far right is going to rise up, and they're going to bring a sledgehammer to it all. And tens, if not hundreds of Americans are going to flock to this person, and he is going to bring swift change. And I don't care what he does, I'm going to be right beside him. Because what we're trying to massage, what we're trying to make better, is a pile of dog shit. I don't care how you polish it. I don't care what kind of herbs or spices you put on it. You are still taking a bite of dog shit. And that is what our government has become. It is the enemy of the people. Thomas Jefferson made a very declarative statement. He didn't say you should have a committee and talk about it. No, he said you have a moral duty, a moral duty to overthrow a tyrannical government. And if you don't think we have a tyrannical government, you're a fool. Nick, I'm going to set this up because I want to jump to number 12. Please. You tell me when you're ready. I'll see it pop up. And if you think that what I'm saying is hyperbole, that the government is here to help us and the government really cares about us, we're going on 41 days and you're talking to a guy that is being hurt by this government shutdown now, and a man that's been through multiple government shutdowns where I was working my ass off 50, 60, 80 hours a week, depending on where I was at what time in my career while we were at a government shutdown without being paid because of these jackasses. Listen to them tell you that they don't care about you during this government shutdown. Play this, please, Nick.
We need to do this while we have the leverage.
Of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer, but it is one of the few leverage times we have.
You reopen the government and we lose our leverage, there has to be an agreement right now. That's what this whole shutdown is about.
Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Frankly, this is our only moment of leverage.
The idea that you would give up all of your leverage and then hopefully get some sort of great deal coming down the pike is just a fool's errand.
Why are working families the leverage the Democrats need to get Obamacare fixed?
It's the only lever we have.
Democrats have this one little sliver right now when we've got some leverage here.
Some Republican senators have pushed a bill that would pay government workers.
I think that just gives the president more leverage.
Catherine was basically expressing, in her own words, the notion that our leverage right now are our votes.
Them wanting to solve the problem that we want to solve, but do it in a couple of days or a couple of weeks when we've given up our negotiating leverage.
Without that leverage, the minority party, would be stuck in the mud and not basically have anything to negotiate.
So you have 40 days. So that's going to be almost 3 pay periods. You're a federal government. You're a Border Patrol agent. You're an ICE agent. You're a TSA. You're anything. 41 going on 42 days. That is approximately 3 pay periods of no pay. A month and a half of no pay. And they could have voted, hey, let's pay our employees and let's talk this out and have discussions. No, we need them to suffer. Do you know what they voted not to do? They voted not to stop their pay. Do you know that they were getting paid? Did you know that? The president, the senators, and the congressmen were being paid because they're exempt. Did you know that? Do you know they're exempt from Obamacare? Do you know they're exempt from the COVID vaccine? Did you know that? They're exempt from insider trading. They're exempt from everything. We allowed this to happen. We allowed the most vile government in our history to grow and exist. I don't know if there will be a militia and a fight for the country in my lifetime. My prayer is that we heal. But I'm not a Pollyanna piece of crap. I'm a realist above everything else. And that's not going to happen. So is my son and his generation going to have to fight and suffer and have that pain and agony? Or will my generation take care of it? My prayer is it's my generation. I don't want my son dealing with this. And any man in their right mind would say, let's just go ahead and do the war now.